All right. Obviously, I'm back. Oh, you guys can actually see that? That's weird. I don't know why. Oh, it's weird that that was considered. Oh, maybe they just made it into a DLC instead of the mod. That's interesting. Okay. Anyway, um, so we're gonna need another vote, I think, on like what nation we're gonna play. Like, do you guys want me to play like a major nation, like a world power, or do you want me to play like one of the smaller countries? Thank you, Czar of Wolves. Oh yeah, I need to take some. I need to take some medication real quick. Poland? Oh my god. I'm really hard. Poland would be really freaking hard. France was hard enough. New game, 1936. Let's select a country. Alright, because we can literally be whoever we want to be. Go for Poland? Oh my gosh, that's 2 votes for Poland. Anybody else have any other votes that wants to, like, save me from these insane people? I've never played Poland before, so I'll probably lose. And you guys wouldn't learn much about strategy if I lose like that. But I mean, you know, it's your guys' entertainment, so I don't care. If you want me to play Poland, we'll play Poland. Are you sure there's Japan? Japan's fun. United States, France, Germany, Russia. That's okay. How about this? Let's do the typical. Let's choose a world power, right? So that people can learn how to play the game actually, before we troll ourselves and play the play one of the small nations. Okay. Here's you guys' choices: France, United States, United Kingdom, Germany, Italy, Japan. Who do we want to be? New Zealand. You're not gonna learn anything from me playing New Zealand. So who are we gonna be, folks? I know, right, Analycus? She's like, man, let's go invade. This is why I don't vote. Okay. Well, since nobody's really... Let's do Germany. Why not? Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Iron Man, Germany. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Liam Mario? Liam Mario? Liam Mario? Is now a follower! Thank you for your follow, sir and or madam. Okay. So here we are. We're on the world map, right? There's a few things that you want to pay attention to on the world map. For example, we've got all these nice little icons up here in the top. Okay? So, all these little icons are obviously, these are all, you know, hey, you've got something important going on, right? So, like, we have 4 research slots that aren't doing anything, right? So let's click on that. Now we have 4 researches going on. And all we got to do is click on one and figure out what we want first, right? Industry, 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 industry. If you're not building something, then you're losing, in my opinion. So, we want to increase our production efficiency cap by 5% with basic machining tools. And while we're at it, we want to increase construction speed by 10%. Now, here's the problem though, okay? If we put any more of our scientists on industry, then we're gonna lose the war based on like technology, right? So we're gonna do one more there just because we want to. But there's a lot of really, really important stuff, right? Now, Germany, for example, Germany's not gonna have an amazing aircraft carrier fleet, okay? So don't, in my opinion, don't bother trying to develop aircraft carrier technology until after the first war, after World War II, because it's a waste of time, in my personal opinion. Now, land doctrines. All right, so let's go over the research screen here real quick. So first, you have your infantry, and this is all the stuff that's going to upgrade your infantry, right? And it's all really important stuff. So like support weapons, right? Support weapons give you all of these bonuses, right? So it's 5% to infantry defense, to breakthrough, to cavalry defense and breakthrough, to mountaineer defense and breakthrough, etc., etc., etc. You guys can see it all right there. So these are really, really good, and we want those. So we're gonna have to do that. Now that fills out our entire research tree, okay? So that's done. Now next we have free civilian factories. And we take a look here. Now, the information that we have here is there's 16 out of 32 total factories that are available for us to use for construction, okay? Now that's not a lot of factories. So we're gonna click on civilian factory right here, and then we're gonna look around the map and figure out where we want to put these factories, right? Now, personally, I also run into an issue with building, or like when I build my factories, I like to build them in a like a defensible area, you know? It's sort of like this, right? So that they're they're behind the front lines and thus harder to get to. And I have more time to intercept them. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a look at the map here. And we're going to see the infrastructure. Okay. Now, infrastructure is super important to moving your supplies around, right? And all of your supplies are produced inside of your factories, right? So over here in Brandenburg, which is where Berlin is, we have 8 out of 10 infrastructure. So like, that's really good. That means that supplies that move from Hanover to Brandenburg are going to start moving faster. And then when they go through Brandenburg, they'll move even faster to get to Ostmark. Since we're going to go the historical route, and we're going to take Poland first, let's go ahead and build a civilian factory. Oops, in Brandenburg. I was on the wrong thing. So we'll click on that. And then see, they only have 12 spots for fun up there. Germany has a major problem with oil in the beginning, okay? So like the oil in Germany is pretty rough in the beginning until you start seizing oil territories, and we'll take a look at that here in a few. But as such, it is a good idea to build some synthetic refineries, and this is where you create your own oil from synthetics. Military factories are what produce all of your military stuff, but as you can see, we're out of civilian factories right now. So we have 15 out of 15 factories working on that civilian factory in Brandenburg, and then we have one factory working on that on the synthetic oil. All right, so the next alert that we have is the free military factories alert, right? So if we look up here, we see that we need 13 oil and 5 rubber in order to efficiently make what we already have in production. Okay, so what is really, really, really important to our military right now is we just developed the more support equipment. So we have 20 factories to utilize right here. So let's see what's already in production. We got some submarines, we've got some destroyers, we got a heavy cruiser, we got some fighters. I want more fighters. Okay, one of them. Germany has a major problem with allied air power. Okay, so if we can produce more fighters, we'll be able to protect our territory a little bit longer. We also want to improve our production of artillery, and we're going to fill out the support equipment line right there so that we have a full line on that. We have plenty more factories to do. So let's take a look at what else we can do. We could give them towed anti-air, but I don't expect to be running into much in the ways of problems there. So over here, you have your basic infantry stuff, right? Weapons, support equipment, trucks, etc. And then you have your tanks, and then you have your airplanes. And right now, we have all of the airplanes that we need, except for strategic bombers. So we're going to go ahead and put an order in for strategic bombers. And we're going to increase its priority. But strategic bombers are not, like, super extra important right now. So I'm probably only going to leave 2 factories on that job because, again, it's not that important. What is important is we want more Stuka dive bombers, and we want way more fighters, and we want more tactical bombers. And now we have 8 more factories, so I want a full line for the light tanks. And I'm going to edit some doctrines a little bit later. So let's start producing some heavy tanks. And we're going to move that up. I like to keep it kind of organized anyway, but I like to have it where I can quickly and easily find what I need to look for. And then 3 more trucks. That fills out all of our military factories, and we need 3 chromium, 3 rubber, or 18 rubber, and 29 oil. And I need to turn a feature off real quick. Game options. Controls. Game. Is there really not a control for this? Alright. Never mind. Okay. So, we also have one more free naval factory. So, we'll come down here and we'll put that on the heavy cruiser. Next, we have no national focus. Okay, so national focuses are like your internal domestic political campaigns. They also, ugh, that was weird. They also get you set up for like whatever you want to do, right? Now, gaining this extra research slot is very important to me, right? But you can also look around and see where else you'll have extra research spots. And I don't think Germany has any others besides that one. We'll have to look around. No. So, all right. This is called Reichsturban. I'm sorry, I don't know. It's Reichsturban. No. It's that middle part that I'm having trouble with. Anyway, 1 second. 1 second. I need to... Alright, give me just 1 second. You guys don't need to see that. Me sneezing to the thing. Okay. I'm back. Alright. Anyway, since its inception in 1933, the Autobahn project has been a glorious success. The construction efforts have reduced unemployment, and the wide roads stand as a monument to Germany's economic recovery. Much more work needs to be done, however. So we'll focus on that, and that should give us increased infrastructure, which will increase everything, basically. We have no divisions presently in training. So here's your divisions, right? We have panzer divisions, we have infantry divisions, and we have the SS, we have the mountaineers, so on and so forth, right? Now, if we want to make a new division, we need something called Army Experience. And there's a few different ways you can get Army Experience. Mostly, you're going to get your Army Experience through combat, but you can also get it through training. The problem with training is it destroys your preparedness, and I mean, it's not a bad thing. I'm making it sound like it is, but it's really not. Okay, so we're going to edit our infantry division, since most of our work is going to be done by them. And this left side over here is their support, right? And so they have support artillery, which is basically like smaller artillery guns that are easy to like attach to the back of a truck and drive behind them, okay? So the infantry division is going to be driving those around, and they're going to be good. Now, the problem with support artillery is that it's weak, okay? Because it's a small gun. But what it does is, as you can see, okay, so it's soft attack is 18 damage. What a soft attack is infantry. Anything that doesn't have armor takes soft attack damage, okay? Armor does as well. But if you look over here, and we look at a real artillery gun, it's 37 damage to infantry versus 18. So it's 37 if you put a real one down here. Now the problem is if you put an actual unit within the division of artillery, it's going to slow the whole division down, right? Because it's no longer a small gun that they can attach to a truck. Instead, they got to load it onto flatbeds and they got to move it that way. So it's going to slow everything down, kind of thing. So it depends on like what you want to do with that particular division. But since we have nobody in training, we're going to go ahead and add some. And we're going to go 3, 4, 5. And we're going to put them in Brandenburg for now. Okay, so that's handled. And we have... What? No template? Oh, I'm not worried about that. So, the other problem is, if you remember from our... Where is it at? The military factory. Yeah, production. So we're missing 30 oil, 18 rubber, and 3 chromium, right? Now we need to trade other countries in order to get these materials. And the United States at the moment has the most oil, but we actually don't really care to make them a friend at the moment. Instead, we're going to trade with Iran. Now, the thing is, what you trade when you're trading for these new goods is you're selling your factory production for their material goods. So we're going to lose civilian factories to get this, but that's okay. We also need a lot of rubber. We need 18 rubber. We're gonna get that from the Netherlands, I think. Siam. Let's get it from Siam. And tungsten. No, we need chromium. We need 3 chromium. So, where are we gonna get 3 chromium? Let's get it from Japan. Okay. I don't want to put too much of my stuff. I don't want too many of my my factories working on that. Okay. Now we've taken care of all of the alerts, and there's a few more UI stuff that we'll need to take a look at, right? So we have Army experience, Navy and Air Force experience, our current number of convoys, which I forgot. I don't have any in production. Now convoys are extremely important, and what we're going to do is we're going to take one factory away from producing that heavy cruiser, and we're going to put it over on supply or convoys, right? Convoys is how you get everything everywhere, basically. So we get like all of our trade that can't be done over land is done by sea, obviously, right? And what else do we need to do? All right. So let's look over more of the UI, right? We got up here in the top left is national unity. Okay, so this is like your country's willingness to continue the fight, right? As you can see, national unity represents the willingness of the people at the top to prosecute a war to the finish. The higher the value is, the longer they will fight on before considering surrender. And that also applies to all of your other, all nations. Okay, so every single nation in the world, that applies to them. And then you have political power, okay? Political power is used to, like, for example, if we click on Poland over here, and we say, hey, Poland, we want to do something. If we wanted to, say, make Poland fascist, it would cost us 20.25 political power per day to turn Poland fascist. I think we'll have a little fun, and we'll start spreading fascism in the United States. Maybe. Should we? What do you guys think? Should we start spreading fascism in the United States? Yeah, they could if we were to trade with them. We didn't actually end up trading with them, though. Okay. Next, you have manpower. Manpower is basically everybody that is able to fight. Okay, so you'll you regain some like over time, but if you're just losing people left, right, and sideways, you're really gonna have a hard time. Okay, so we've pretty much taken care of everything that needs to be taken care of in the beginning, but it's still not time to unpause the game yet. What we need to do is we need to start setting up our armies and divisions and setting up our plans of action. Since we're going to go after Poland first, what we need to do is we need to create a new army, and we're going to go ahead and highlight these guys as 13 divisions, okay? They're all pretty good. We got 3 Panzer divisions in there. We've got 1 SS division and several regular infantries that are well trained. So now, if we want to give these guys a general, which you do, you click down here on the little portrait to give them an army. So now they have an army, but they don't have a commander. So we click commander and we assign one. Now there's different levels of commanders. There's a field marshal that have no limit on the number of divisions they can have. And but these regular generals do. Now the regular generals, I like the regular generals a little bit more than the field generals because it's like a little bit easier to use multiple groups to be able to do like a lot of different aspects and stuff like that. And that's cool, man. Family DZ. That's cool, dude. Let's go ahead and put Erwin Rommel in charge over here. So now that he's in charge, what we can do is we can design a front line. And what we'll do is we'll start up here and we'll click and bam, it's done. So now the front line is there and these guys are gonna all automatically move to there. But we're not finished. So we need to take these guys and these guys and we need to give them a general, an army group 2, and we're gonna do Manstein up here. And we're gonna assign them that front line. Alright. We need trying to decide here. Alright, we'll go with these guys. And we'll assign them... Who do we want? Who do we want? I want a bunker buster. I put Manstein in charge of that, that's okay. Oh, this guy. Man, this guy... Ernst Herbal Hell. Okay. So he's gonna be manning the front line here on France. Not really gonna do anything over there, probably for a rather long time. And that's quite okay. I forget what button I need to push for that. Hold on. Oh, okay. I remember. So what I'm doing is I'm clicking on those, and then I'm holding shift as I do that, right? So I held shift, drug a box over these divisions to select them all, and then left clicked while holding shift for that division up there. And it brought up all 5 of those divisions. And then as you can see, we have Rommel's army over here, which we'll name here in just a minute, but they're all over here. And so what we want to do is we want to combine them. It's been a while since I've done this. Where's the combine button? Maybe they select half the current division, hold the divisions, deselect strategic, change division, disband selected units. I don't remember. Hold on, I'll figure it out. There it is. Assign the current assign. Right? Yes. Okay. So division assignment mode is what it is. So you click on that, and then you click on the front line where that general is, and then those guys are going to go reinforce that line. The general himself he'll decide where he wants to put them if you let him, but you could also tell him manually, okay? And that pretty much covers all of our land units for now. And we basically need to do the same thing for our fleets. So we have submarine fleet over here, and we want to find a good submarine admiral. And there should be, yeah, Donitz submarine attack. Okay, so now he's assigned to that, but I don't really speak I mean, I do speak German, but let's make this a little bit easier. Submarine Fleet 1. Or let's call this North. Yes. Maybe? I'll still do it with 1. And then up here we have like heavy cruisers, light cruisers, and destroyers. And we actually want somebody that can get a lot of ships into combat quickly. Because we want oh, these little medals, your generals will earn medals that will enhance their abilities. So, like for example, he's an old guard, right? So he's kind of stuck in the old ways of World War I, and he's not willing to adapt new World War II tactics. And so he's going to gain experience 25% slower because he's a hard head. So he's not really a good guy. I don't want to use him unless I have to. Superior Tactician. 25% of your fleet will arrive in the battle together. So basically what happens is your fleet's going to be spread out, right? Like, kind of like this. Hi, jazz hands. So your fleet's going to be spread out like this, and they're going to move along, and say Pinky Finger ship finds a bad guy ship, right? Well, he's going to report it to the other ships, and then they're all going to converge together to go into the battle, right? But if you have 25% more, then you're going to get more people into the battle quicker. So we'll just call them Kriegsmarine 1. And we'll go ahead and select them. And we're going to reunite them with our battleship fleet up here. Which we have the battleship Schlesien and Schleswig-Holstein with a bunch of destroyers. So I don't want those guys operating separately on their own. So we're just going to leave them over there. Straight away, you're waiting for... Yeah, I'm gonna probably wait for the national focus to invade Poland. But at the moment, what we're doing is I'm kind of trying to teach everybody the very basics of the game at the moment. Okay, so Eric Rieder, he'll be our admiral. He has a medal for blockade runner, and that will be good for the submarines because it gives them plus 20% chance to decide that the fight is too big for them and it's time to retreat. And it increases their speed while retreating by 25%, so they'll get out of there faster, and that's a very good thing. Okay. So all of that craziness just got set up, right? Does anybody have any questions at this time before I continue on? Because I know it's very complicated, and I know we just went through like a ton of information about the beginning of the game. So if anybody has any questions, I'll give you guys like just a couple minutes, and we'll keep going. And while I'm doing that, I'm actually gonna set something else up. So while you guys are figuring that out, I'm taking a look at some other stuff just real quick. Oh yeah. How do ships gain experience and levels? Is it by sinking other ships? Yes. The short answer is yes. The long answer is your ships gain experience for doing damage against enemy ships. You don't necessarily have to sink them. Question from Analycus. Would it be smart to pump out subs to just mess up England's trade? Yes. It is actually a very good idea to mess up England's trade. All right? People that say that this game isn't very complicated totally ignore the trade But you can totally cut off England's ability to get food, water, supplies, everything. You can isolate their island and just cripple the hell out of them with, you know, a few fleets of submarines. If you're sinking England's, the United States are, I don't have this particular game stuck on the historical features, right? So it's not going to follow the exact path of what happened in real life. This one's kind of up in the air, so I don't know what's going to bring the United States into this war when we get it started, or if we're even the ones that start it first. But right now we can take a look at them and see who they are allied with, which they have no allegiance right now. But they're guaranteeing the independence of all nations in South America, Canada, and Mexico and Latin America at the moment. So if we decided to, you know, like, oh, hey, you know, we want to, let me show you something here, actually. This is really important. What button? There, resource map mode. So if we turn that on, where's the resources? There they are. Okay. So if we turn on resource map mode, what it's going to do is it's going to show us 30 rubber is produced in Maranhão province. Okay. So one of the problems that we had, if you remember, is we need 18 rubber and we're producing absolutely none. Zero. No rubber. So that would be a really important spot for us to take. And so if we were to do that, it would piss off America, because America is guaranteeing the independence of that country, right? But America doesn't give a crap about anybody over here. So we can be free and happy to take over whatever we want. But you can see, like, all the different resources are produced over here, right? You got steel there, we got oil, steel, and it's all very, 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 very important. In Russia, we got tungsten and steel and, you know, aluminum. But while you're making your plans, those are the kinds of areas that you want to go for almost first, right? Because, well, especially like if you're fighting like a powerful country, right? Because the moment you start cutting off their ability to make war, the moment, you know, you start winning the war at that point. Okay. I didn't see any other questions, so we're going to move on to the next thing that we need to start doing. So there's a whole bunch of different map modes down here in the right. You have the default map mode, which you'll probably spend most of your time in. And as you can see, it makes each country like a different color, and you can kind of remember who you're at war with and stuff like that. And you can click on these different little toggles to see like who's allied with what, and so forth, right? Now, if France was allied with, say, you know, Switzerland, then their armies would be the same color with that on. I like to leave that off just to make sure I know who I'm fighting, to know who to like really bash. Now, you can click on this to see allied battle plans. I usually leave it off unless I'm playing multiplayer, because it's, you know, it's superfluous. It doesn't really matter if you know what you're, well, I take that back. It doesn't matter to me if I know what my AI allies are planning. But it can be useful, because I'll show you. We're actually going to start time at this moment. We'll go ahead, push spacebar. So we press spacebar to get the game started. And as you can see up here, you can see it counts every single hour. It says unfulfilled reports. Okay. Let's take a look. Now, I've paused the game with spacebar again because this is important. So we need 4 more oil, and that looks like it. So we need to trade more oil. Let's go ahead and get it from the United States. So we'll hit spacebar again. And everything is in real time, okay? That's why you see the sun is actually moving away. And it's pretty cool, right? Because Alaska is up in the Arctic, so it's not getting a lot of sun in this season, you know? So I think that's cool anyway, that they included that. But it also affects, like, how you handle your battles and so forth, right? And so now, we told Rommel that he's in charge of setting up his army right over here, right? So now he's moving all of his people that we just assigned to him. And you can click on them and you can see where he's sending them. So like he's putting light tanks up here and so forth. And like I said, you can manually change that if you wanted, right? Like if we're like, oh no, Rommel, that's not a good spot. And if I right clicked anywhere else, it would cancel that order and tell it to go where, you know, I just right clicked. So now here's our fleet that we want to actually combine. The other thing about Germany that you need to be really, really, really freaking careful of is your navy sucks in the beginning, okay? You need to use them strategically, and like you need to be a little sneaky bastard with them is what you need to do. But okay, I'm remembering what we need to do right now. Okay, up here we have theaters up in the top right hand corner. If you look on the up here in the top right, it's theaters. So what we can do is we can click on settings, and we can rename this, right? And we're going to rename this one to Poland. Okay. And there's different things that we can do. You can put, well, these guys aren't really important, so they have a low priority on reinforcements. They have a medium, or they have a high priority. These guys are going to be fighting, so we're going to put them on high priority. Okay. Now, Army Group 3 is not really that important. One of the things I like to do is I like to name each army after the general that's in charge of them, so that I know that their capabilities. But this guy is not going to Poland. He's going to be in charge of protecting France. So we're going to click on New Theater, and we're going to click on Settings, and we're going to change that over to France. And since they're not really that important, we're going to put them on low priority, and we'll just have to remember that they are on low priority for the future. So, the other thing that we need to start doing is we need to start moving our Air Force around. So we have 40 fighters, really, really, really crappy fighters, right here at Ostpreußen Air Base, right? So what we want to do is I like to negate, well, you don't have to negate them all, right? But since they added this nice little feature, you can just click on -100 until the fighters are at 0, and then click +100. You never, ever, 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 ever want to have a flight of planes that are just larger than 100 pilots large, okay? And I'll explain that here in just a minute, but actually I'll explain it right now while I'm moving these things around. The reason why you don't want more than 100 planes in an air group is because of ACEs. ACEs only apply to flights that are 100 planes or less, okay? So right now he's going to apply plus 10% air attack, plus 8% maximum airspeed, and plus 15% agility to all 80 of these planes. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and increase the limits on all of these. And we're going to move tactical bombers to here. And we're going to move other tactical bombers to here. Now, one thing you'll notice, right, is like, these guys, you can double left click on their image over here to get further information about that particular air wing, right? So this air wing is, it's set up with Dornier Dio 23, and it has 3,200 men involved in the unit, with 80 planes present. Now, this plane is a World War I bomber, so it's a piece of garbage, right? It's an absolute piece of garbage. Its maximum operating range is 1 kilometer, or 1,000 kilometers. No. Yeah, maybe? I don't know. Something like that. It's 1K, right? Yeah, it's 1,000 kilometers. That's what it is. I just wasn't sure because it seemed off for me for some reason. So I'm just gonna go around and click on my airplanes and get them ready. And also doing this, like setting them up. See, like this guy has too many planes. So when we set him up to just 100. Oh, we need to do that twice. Okay. So when we set him up to just 100, it's going to send 20 extra planes and all of their people back into reserve. Okay. So we'll do that, and it's going to send them all back to reserve. And that way, now this unit over here eventually will end up getting, like, let's say it decided to add those fighters that we just eliminated from this squad, right? It would add them over to this one eventually, but I don't really know where it's going to go. We can set up the priority, but I'm not really concerned with that at the moment. It's not a really big priority, so we're just going to keep going through our Air Force and doing this, right? So you can also click up here, right? Like that was taking a while to click on each airport and figure out where they are. So you can click up here in the top right hand corner next to the globe, and it's, or you can push the L key and it will bring up your Air Force tab. This tells us that we have 80 CAS airplanes present. We have 285 fighters total, 72 naval bombers, and 481 tactical bombers, and 4 transport planes. Okay? And then you can see how it all breaks down. So our naval bombers are actually right here in Schweizhofen 5. Which is good, because what we're going to do is we're going to give them orders eventually. Once we're at war, we don't want to do it right now because there's a chance for them to lose pilots due to weather and so forth if we're having them fly around for no reason. But later, when we go to war, we'll have them protect the Baltic Sea right here. Well, not necessarily protect, or we can have them attack the Eastern Northern Sea, right? Eastern North Sea. Why is it? Why? That's weird. That sounds weird to me. Okay. Missing equipment in production. So I just ordered more naval bombers, right? But we don't have any naval bombers actually in production. And I noticed that we're still missing resources, because Iran has stopped trading with us. Alright, fuck you, Iran. We will get our oil from... We'll just get it all from the United States. Yep. That's a nice feature. They didn't have that before. We have a big surplus in aluminum right now. Well, not really large. And we need more rubber, because these jerks are not delivering on their promise. So we'll get that actually from the United Kingdom. Now, production doesn't stop when you're not getting enough resources, but it slows it down to a snail's crawl. So it's really, really important that you keep an eye on that, right? We need more rubber. We could have gotten it from the Netherlands, but I wanted to be nice and not actually do that. Okay. So now we've got everything set up for the basic beginning. And what we want to do now is kind of we can do a couple things. We can chill out and just kind of let time go by, or we can speed up time and fast forward to another like significant event, or we can do what I like to do, which is plan out our battle, right? So we're going to attack Poland, and we need a battle plan. So we're going to form an offensive line. And we're basically going to paint how we want them to move first. So I want them to surround the city of Krakow. And so we'll just kind of... Why is it not doing that? I used to do that. Why are you not doing that? Oh, okay. So, we want them to move like that. Right? Now I was going to say, oh, we're going to send all 18 divisions doing that. But as you can see, we also ended up taking Krakow into that offensive line. That's okay. We don't need to worry about that. But if it was a city that we needed to siege, so to speak, then we could adjust our orders there. And you can adjust the orders pretty easily by, you know, like we can right click on that little button and we can drag it somewhere else and just kind of adjust the order. Now you see how it's saying it's red. That red color means that your general does not feel that he has enough divisions to actually accomplish the goals that you have set for him. And we want to set up against this river. And it says no divisions are assigned to this present order, right? Don't need to worry about that right now. I'm having some nose issues, apparently. This is rather annoying. Danzig can be kind of hard to take. Sometimes. It's all dependent. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to select the divisions that are closest to each order, and I'm going to assign them to do that particular order, right? So those guys are assigned there. And these guys are going to be assigned here. And then this guy, this one, these guys. They're going to be assigned there. Right? Rommel afraid of Poland. Lols. So, we've set it all up just the way we kind of want it right now. I need to get more troops up to Mr. Manstein. So we're going to go ahead and change his army name to Manstein. Manstein. Because Manstein only has 4 divisions, which is kind of sad. We're going to change this one over to Rommel. And I'm the type of player that plans things out, right? I plan, and I plan some more. So, the next phase of one of the things that I'm going to eventually do is with Manstein, I want Manstein to move down at the same time that Rommel is moving east. So we're going to have him move south and kind of take this side of the river, okay? Now, the problem with Manstein said, I'm unsure that I'll have enough divisions to handle that. And that's okay because we're making more divisions right now. and we'll worry about that at a later date. So he'll be ordered to move south on to this river, and then next phase of the plan, we want Rommel to move to Warsaw, which is not giving me the right thing here. So hold on, we need to delete that. All right. So we'll go ahead and put that there. Now, it says no divisions are assigned to that, and that's okay, because what's going to happen is they're going to execute the first phase of the plan. Normally, like, if you don't split your army up into 3 sections like I did, this second order would, like, flow off of the other one. Like, we can do it up here with Manstein, for example. So Manstein was ordered to take this side of the river, right? But then we're going to tell him, after you're done with that river, move here. And it didn't do it for whatever reason. Anyway, what it's supposed to do, and what it's not doing right now for some reason, is it's supposed to extend. Oh, it's probably just my bad placement. Hold on. Alright. So it's doing it now. We'll just go like that. So, Manstein's going to move down south, and he's going to help Rommel through Warsaw and move up here. And then we're going to move Manstein further up to the north there. We're going to move Rommel down to the south here. Right? Sure. That should handle it. Now, this warning over here says battle plans. Nobody is assigned. Is face cam a new thing? Yeah, I mean, I don't normally like doing face cam, but I'm trying it out. I don't know. I'm just trying to be different. I want to, you know, I'm trying to improve my channel here. And one of the things that we're going to start doing to improve the channel is, like, for example, you'll notice I totally redid my information section. Made it look a little bit better for you guys. I also am going to start scheduling streams. So every day at 8 p.m. Well, not every day. Excuse me. Every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, we're going to stream a strategy game. So when we first started here, it was 8 p.m. and it's a strategy game. During the week, it's kind of random. I can't predict it. So we'll stream whenever we can. Kind of thing. So we've pretty much handled everything that we need to handle for now. We could come over here to the France order, and we could give him additional orders. But I don't think we need to do anything, because we told him to hold the front line there, and that's good enough. One thing you can do is, like, these guys are all experience level 3 out of 5. I think it's 5 levels. It's been a while since I've played, so forgive me if I'm wrong. Or if somebody in chat knows more, they could tell you. That's what I wanted. So, we can take a look over at Rommel's army, and you can see that they're all regulars, right? One of the other things that you'll see is this little blue bar is growing. Okay? When that blue bar gets to its maximum height, it basically means that they have all of their plans in place, and they have their units in place to execute those plans. Okay? So each division is only represented by one sprite, right? But this particular division has how many men? Where is it? 9,000 men. 9,600 if you want to be specific. Sure. Basically what they're doing is they're moving into position, and they're getting ready to execute this order right there. The other thing that you'll notice on your armies is that it says 46 right here. So in order to move Rommel's entire army, it's going to take 46 out of our 156 convoys to move Rommel's army. Okay, so we have a total of 200 convoys. We have 156 of them available. So if we only had like 45, we wouldn't be able to move Rommel's army together over the overseas. But like I said, we've got pretty much everything handled. So let's go ahead and speed time up. I don't like going more than 3 usually because I like to be on top of any unpredicted items. So now we just kind of watch the sun go by. And you can see on our research, we're going to get that in about 70 days. So that'll be really nice. And that's pretty much it. Anybody have any questions for that second thing where we set up the orders? I'm just doing more of what we did earlier with the planes, and we're just setting them up to be more prepared. Now, a lot of our factories are up here in Brandenburg, so we're going to move that fighter unit up to Brandenburg right now to help defend. Yes, night and day does affect something. A lot of things, actually. Like, for example, if we were to attack right now, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. These guys aren't going to be able to see jack diddly squat. On the other hand, neither is the enemy, right? However, if we go to research, and I think it's under infantry, you can get night vision 1, right? However, night vision, we are 6.8 years ahead of schedule. If we tried to do that right now, it's a complete waste of our time. So you don't want to do that at the moment. Instead, what you can do is you can plan it out just right. So here comes the sun, right? Here comes the sun. So you can pause the game right there. So the sun has risen right here in the south, but it's just about to rise right there. Okay? So if we wanted to attack at dawn, so to speak, we could click this button right here, which I'm not going to click because we're not at war and we're not ready for a war just yet either. But if I click that button, Rommel would execute these plans that we laid out, okay? And like I said, we don't want him to actually do that, so we're not going to click that button right now. But that's what we would do if we wanted him to go for it. But you see, like, if you timed it just right, then you can get little advantages or disadvantages based on the weather. You can also look, like, where's it at? There used to be a weather one. Oh well. Anyway, so you can kind of look around at the map, and there's like different weather going on that also needs to be paid attention to a little bit. Like, for example, it's snowing in this area. This is a forest area. But it's also in winter, right? So tanks, which we have a Panzer division set up right here, right now, they're gonna move slower through the woods. But the benefit to that is they have a plus 10% like stealth aspect to them, so that like the enemy's gonna know that they're there, okay, but they're not gonna know exactly. Oh, here's some weather. So it's raining in it's raining in Czechoslovakia. And rain will affect everything. So rain, minus 10% air detection, minus 10% naval detection, naval hit chance. It's a bunch of negatives. Same thing with snow, storms, and all kinds of other things. Yeah, exactly, Analycus. If you didn't have like a big air force, right, but the enemy did, you could wait for rain. And I mean, if you had the option to wait for rain, then you could wait for storms. Now, that's also like really beneficial for Russia, right? Because Russia has like a lot of crazy weather going on. So if you are defending as Russia, you can really set up like a lot of defenses and kind of use your weather to your advantage. And one way you can do that is like by telling your aircraft not to operate during bad weather. Now, if their aircraft is still working during that time, they're going to suffer more losses to bad weather than they are ever going to suffer from your fighter planes during that time. But as soon as the weather goes back out, you can tell your fighters to get back to their jobs, and you'll be good to go. Now, obviously, that kind of thing is not going to work every single time, okay? You got to play it by ear, and if you guys are absolutely getting pummeled by the air and you can't afford to let the weather protect them, then, you know, by all means, protect them another way, kind of thing. So, we're just going to fast forward a little bit more. Oh, okay. I need to pause it. So the Spanish Civil War. Give me just 1 second. I'll answer this and then move on. Okay, the Spanish Civil War. A civil war has erupted in Spain. Several generals seeking to overthrow the current government in Madrid have issued a... Wait, I lost my place. Hold on. Blah, 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 blah. Have issued one of those things. And a large portion of the Spanish armed forces have answered their call to arms. This right-wing nationalist faction has occupied much of Spain, including the overseas territories. Loyalist forces and volunteers have assembled under the left-wing Republican government, determined to resist to their last breath. The battle for Spain has begun. What will this mean for Spain? Hey, Severi, how's it going? Now, what we can do is we can say, hey, how's it going, New Republic? What's going on, buddy? You want to be our friends? And we can start talking to them and be like, yo, let's be friends. But we don't like communism. Communism, bad. Communism, fascism, good. So, we're going to talk to the nationalist Spain, who are fascist. And we're going to say, we're going to send volunteers. We're going to send Erwin Rommel. Nah, 2 divisions. I forgot about that. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to come back over here. And we're going to go you and you. New army group. And we're gonna call you Spanish Civil War. And we're gonna go, Mr. Rommel, you have been reassigned elsewhere, sir. And in the meantime, we're gonna put somebody else in charge of Rommel's army. We're gonna put... what's this? General Kurt Student. Now, he says commando, out of supply, minus 50%, right? That is amazing for Marines, paratroopers, and other special forces that you're going to use to get behind enemy lines. It's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So we're going to do new theater, and we're going to do Spain. Okay. Now, the other thing... so, we're going to come back over here to Nationalist Spain. We're going to click on their flag. There's another way you can get there. You can get there through diplomacy as well. But it's not as... I just like going over to there and just clicking on the flag and getting there. So we can send reinforcements. At the moment, we're only allowed to send 2. And it's going to generate 1% world threat when we do this, okay? So if we send those 2 divisions that we just separated with Rommel down here, then we generate a little bit of world tension for that, because everybody's like, whoa, whoa, Germany, calm down. But we don't care. We're Germany. We don't care. We don't care. So, now Rommel's going to move these 2 guys over there. We don't actually have to do anything because it's going to automatically move them if, what's his face? I think that's his name. No. Francisco Franco. I think that's his name right there. It should be. Let me double check. Yeah. Well, whatever. Anyway, so we're going to, right now, we sent the diplomacy to say, hey, we've got 2 divisions of our army that we're willing to offer you to help your war. And now we have to wait for his reply, okay? But there's more stuff we can do. We can also say, hey, we would like to start a lend-lease. And this is where we send them equipment and they send us money, basically. But it's not really money. But anyway, blah, 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 blah. So, we are producing 5.25 Opel trucks per day. We're producing 52.5 infantry equipment, 32 support equipment, etc. Well, we have 32 support equipment in storage right now, right? So if we had like an excess of Panzer Is, right? We're not producing them. We don't care about these things. We have 81 of them, right? So we'll click on the Panzer Is and we'll say percent. Oh, not percent. Once. Sorry. And we'll go 80. Right? Because we don't care about these crappy tanks. Right? We don't want them. We don't need them. So we're going to send them there. And what it's going to do is it's going to improve our relationship with fascist Spain. Nationalist Spain. And they're going to have some crappy tanks. But they're going to have tanks to help them out in this civil war that is just erupted. Okay? So, the benefit as Germany of sending units over to Spain to help out during the civil war is Rommel's going to gain leadership experience while he's there. But so are these 2 divisions. The 1st Panzer and the 2nd Infantry Division. These guys are going to get more experience, and that's almost invaluable. Okay, almost invaluable. 9,000 men there and 5,000 men there, so 14,000 men we're sending, and that's a lot of dudes. So we'll go ahead and unpause it. Nationalist Spain has accepted our lend-lease offer, and nationalist Spain has allowed our forces to move. So now it says volunteer forces are on the move. 2 divisions are being sent to nationalist Spain and are expected to arrive at either, I think that's 1 a.m. It might be 1 a.m. or 1 p.m. on the 11th of March, 1936. It is the 26th of February, so we gotta wait for them to sail from, they're probably gonna sail out of Stettin. And then they're gonna come down here. Now, the problem is, it literally sends your people on ship. Now, you don't see it, right? Because you didn't tell them to move yourself. But it is literally sending them out of one of these ports. And I'm guessing that one because it was the closest one to where they were. And that ship is going to move through all of these territories if they took that path. Now, if we were at war with England and they had a bunch of ships, we can look on the naval, right? And if they had a bunch of ships in the English Channel that were hunting down supply ships, then there's a chance that those 2 units would be intercepted, and they have no defense against that unless you have, you know, your own fleet in the area protecting them, and they'll get sunk, and then Rommel and his 2 divisions would die, and that's very sad. And the other thing that you'll notice right here is a bunch of green lines around the world, and what these are is our trade. So we're trading with America, and it's coming out of Boston, and it goes all the way over there into our place, right? So if you wanted your resources to be more efficient coming in, like, if you notice, right, we only have, our trade is really only coming in on 1 port. This supply line is just basically German proper sending supplies over to this territory up here. But this is where all of our trade is coming in. And if we wanted to speed that up, we would increase the infrastructure, and we can increase the naval base that's there. So the naval base that's here right now is a level 8, which is really significant. It's pretty darn high. So we don't really need to do that right now. But if we wanted to, we could. And you could go to construction, not that one, naval base. See, it's 8 out of 10 right now. If you improved it to 10 out of 10, that means more supply ships can come into that port at a time, and thus you'd get more supplies more efficiently and get them to your factories to start producing everything that you need to produce more quickly. So it's the 1st of March. Our guys are expected on the 11th of March. So we'll go ahead and fast forward time a little bit. Now, I don't have like a numpad. Well, I do, but it's kind of tricky for me to use it because I have like this little screen where the numpad is supposed to be, and I have to change out the application that is showing on that screen, which is right now is showing my clock. So we've got about, I'd say, 13 minutes left on the stream tonight, and then I'm gonna go ahead and take a break, but then we'll be back tomorrow with more of this at 8 p.m. and other random games if I stream earlier than that. All right. So the volunteer forces are ready to fight. 2 of the divisions you sent to National Spain have arrived in Lyon. And we completed a national focus. Now, if you wanted to know what this did, you can click on details, and it'll tell you. It says, add maximum infrastructure to Brandenburg, Hanover, Thuringen, and Franken. Right? So that's pretty awesome. And one of the things you'll notice, right? In order to get rocketry, we need industrial effort 2 and air innovations 2. So we can do the west wall, which the west wall runs parallel to France's vaunted Maginot Line, occupying much of the same ground as the Siegfried Line did in the previous Weltkrieg. Fortifying its defenses will allow us to hold the border with fewer men, freeing up divisions to participate in any potential eastern campaigns. The problem with doing this is that France is going to see that as offensive, right? They're going to be like, yo, why are they building up, right? So we're going to be a little bit more strategic about that, and we're going to start focusing on a modern air force, because we are going to get our asses absolutely kicked in the air for a long time, because these guys are going to have a lot more air force due to their alliance, and we need better planes to be able to defeat them more efficiently. Alright, so we still have control over our army right here. So we're going to tell Rommel to set up a front line there, and we're going to close out this port there. And I'm not seeing... And so right now we can see what our intelligence says, and we can see where these divisions are, but the question mark means we know there's divisions there, we don't know what their make is. I think you can click on them and get like a general idea though. No, you can't. Okay. And if we wanted more information, we could fly planes over there, but we can't because this isn't our war, so we can't actually send the Air Force at this time. Our intelligence says that there are no divisions here, but I'm willing to bet that there's going to be one in Bilbao. In Bilbo! We'll call it Bilbo. And we'll click activate. So now we've told Rommel, alright, you've got approval, go for the plan, let's do it. And we'll go ahead and slow time down to 1, and we'll hit play. So now Rommel is going to execute his plans. One of the things I just noticed is Rommel wants to move his infantry division way over here because we dragged this front line too far. So we're going to drag the front line back, and that should fix it. Alright. Now one of the things you're going to notice is that this particular unit has attrition. And that's because they're moving through mountains and they're not mountaineers. Okay? So they're losing equipment, they're losing men. I hope they're not losing men, actually. They might just be losing equipment. So that's another thing that you need to take into consideration, right? You don't want your tanks moving. We're gonna tell him to go somewhere else. We're gonna tell him to go here. You don't want your tanks moving through terrain that's gonna jack them up, right? Unless you have to. So, for example, if we could invade Portugal, we could take the tanks down through here, or we could do a diplomatic thing and ask for something that they're not gonna, let us do. But we can ask for military access to their territory, and then you can move them down here all stealthy-like and just attack from another area that they're not expecting, because nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition. Yeah, we got big storms over here. So one of the things you can notice is, like, if you see the lightning and stuff, that's like a severe storm. And in the penalties for the storm gets even more severe in those areas. Okay. So, we've got like 7 minutes left. Let's get some questions out there. Did anybody have any questions at this point as to what we're doing, or like how to do something that we've described? We already took Bilbo, So now we're gonna want to take this Air Force to prevent them, airfield, to prevent them from getting any airplanes over here. I don't think that Republican Spain is going to be able to field an Air Force, but I've seen Russia side with Republican Spain more often than, like, a few times, right? But if anybody has any questions at this point, feel free to ask, and I'll try to answer if I know the answer. And if not, then tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern, I think, okay, I'm crossing my fingers here, but I think that I can stream tomorrow at 8 p.m. And we'll just kind of have to play it by ear. But anyway, 8 p.m. tomorrow, we'll continue this game. And there you go. We'll just continue this game, and I'll continue to describe what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, so that you can continue to learn. Yes, it is. That's why. See, it's a demilitarized zone. You can't move divisions into the Rhineland, but there's a national focus called the Rhineland where we ignore that. We're like, no, screw that. That's our territory. But we're not doing that right now. What we're doing is we're improving our Air Force and so forth. But yeah, there's a national focus where we can reclaim the Rhineland. But it increases world tension by 2 points, and it makes France kind of pissed off. But who cares? It's France, right? I'm just kidding. The French were freaking awesome in World War II. And they don't get enough credit for that, I don't think. So we've almost, like, completely wiped out Republican territory over here, which is going to help a lot. And I forgot that I wanted to... I should have sent mountain troops over here, but I didn't. And that's my problem. That's my problem. But what we're going to do is we're going to move our 2 divisions down here. To this area right here, because we don't want to cross the river, and that's a big river, with our tanks, because it's just gonna be messy. We'll just tell him to go there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna come over here and we're gonna reinforce this area, because as you can see, Republican Spain is already moving in on this territory right here in Castile. So we will move down there and we'll take them out tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it for the stream. I hope you guys had so much fun, and I hope you guys learned a lot about the beginning of this game. And like I said, if you have any questions, just let me know tomorrow and we'll go over them. But you guys were all awesome. I love your faces. And I hope that the face cam didn't scare you guys too much. My awesome beard, the gray in it. I'm actually really lucky because my father was like full silver by the time he was 25. So the fact that I still have color in my hair now is fantastic. Very informational. That's good. We'll get better. You'll see it more like as we start getting into actual wars and stuff like that. I'll describe my tactics and why I'm doing them. And it will hopefully make a lot more sense on all of that. But everything you do in this game is, you need to like focus on your end goal, right? And our end goal is world domination. Actually, what I really want is I want France, and I want Russia, and a bunch of other territory. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna be it, and I will see you tomorrow if you're around. I should tweet when I'm gonna start streaming. If I can start streaming before 8 p.m., we'll play like some other random game, maybe some more Division or like RimWorld or Halcyon 6 or something like that. But I love you guys, and we'll see you next time. We can't save the game because this is Iron Man mode, which means we can't load the game either. My mic. Anyway, I hope you guys had fun. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.